I wonder what my most popular video is. Was it that insane virtual riot growl? No, that can't be it, that can't be it. Perhaps maybe it was my slushy tutorial. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that's probably it. You know what? Let's check. Wait. What is this? My Soltan turn up bass has over 2,000 views and I have 624 subscribers? No, that can't be right. Oh, the views don't lie. I guess a lot of people want to know how to make this bass. What if I made another one? What is going on, guys? I'm back on the mic today from Spectral Sound, and welcome to the second edition of the Soltan Turn Up Bass tutorial. Now, this is not another recreation of the main bass like I did in the first tutorial. This is a recreation of the very first bass that hits right as the drop starts. So I'll give you a listen to it right here.
People in the place, so turn up.
So I will play you my recreation, and you will hear them both beside each other.
People in the place, so turn up.
Now, I know these two basses are not exactly the same. There is something I want to go over. It's first of all, how I got that specific pitch, that gnarly sort of pitch that it has here. And I got it through FM, but I'm going to show you exactly how that works. And I also wanted to go over how I got the vowel sound, because it has a very unique vowel sound compared to a lot of other basses. And I'm just going to go over how I achieved that. First off, before I do anything else though, I want to go over the post-processing for this. First off is a soft clipper. All it's doing is just looping it around. There's a little bit of distortion going on here. Mostly it's just some compression, just adding a little more power to it. And then I have a vocoder. I have it on 16 band, and I just messed with the bands just a little bit here. I didn't mess with anything up top. Really all the vocoder is doing is just kind of taking a little bit of the sharpness out of the sound. This is all this is just fine tuning, like it's really subtle. The vocoder is at a 40% mix, so you're just feeding in a little bit of that vocoder action along with the original sound. And then we have some EQing right here. This is just making sure the high end is all fixed up. I will play it for you now with the post-processing and without the post-processing. This is with the post-processing, and this is without the post-processing. As you can hear, it is the same sound, but it's just a little bit of fine-tuning so I can match it to the original track and just mix it in a little better. So here's the original patch by itself without the sub. I have done the side chaining inside Serum. All I had to do was bring up the attack a little bit and pull this down to mimic a sidechain, because I do have a kick drum playing right there. Alright, so let's turn off everything so you can see exactly what I'm doing from the very start. We just have to remember that it ends with the reverb. Alright, everything is off except for Oscillator A, and this is what we got. Now I brought the octave down one for this. This is a solid phase 1 in the spectral tab, I believe. The solid phase, there we go, yeah. And all we have to do for this is squarify it. So we bring up the solid phase, we go into here, we go multis, process squarify, and now that happens. And then we gotta normalize because it's not very loud anymore. Alright, and this is what we got. There we go, that's how I got that table. The wavetable position is static at 218, so we're just getting a little end bit right there. And the level is at 75%. The FM is at 23%, going up 20 with LFO1 here. You can see LFO1, what it's doing. You can just copy this sort of shape. This is going to be the main modulation, the main mod source. And LFO2 is also doing one of these, and that's going to work with the pitch. Other than that, these are the only modulations happening. There's also one thing added to envelope 2, but I will get to that when I go into the effects section. Now let's turn on Oscillator B. Right here we have a Reverb 4, which I believe is also in the spectral tab. I had some people commenting about how much I use the seamless wavetables from the spectral, and they're awesome. Really, there's so much in there you can do. I love those wavetables. They're the best in my opinion. All right, we're going to bring this one down an octave, and we're going to put it up 7 semitones. Now this is actually very important to achieve that sort of pitch effect that the original track has. You can hear the difference between when it's up 7 semitones and when it's just at 0 semitones. I'll play it for you right here. That's with 7, and this is with none. So you can hear that it's a lot deeper, and it doesn't have those rich harmonics that the original track does. So the frequency modulation to Oscillator A is on 23%, and it's going up 20 with LFO1. So there's just a little bit of movement there. And the wavetable position for Oscillator B is at 13%, going up 10. So it's just a little bit of movement up at the front here to get those weird. This is called Reverb for a reason. We got some weird phases going on here. So just snatching some of those at the very beginning. And the sync is on 1.03%, going up 23. So there's just a little bit of action there. Let's have a look at that. That also really helps to achieve that kind of gnarly, not quite screechy, however it does have some good rich harmonics up in the top end. It helps to achieve that. That's what the sync is doing right here. I'm just mixing the level in a bit at 23%. Normally I would keep the level all the way down because we're FMing. However, that 7th on top, just a little bit, just feeding it in slightly, really does help to kind of give the sound a little more meat. Now, for the filter, we only have Oscillator A running through the filter. I didn't care to route that through the filter because there wasn't enough coming out for it to be significant. So you can if you want to. It doesn't matter too much. But it is a high-pass 12 filter, and the cutoff is at 131, and it's going up 28 with this modulation here. That's a classic kind of high-pass talking filter that gives the sound a little more wow. And then for the peak filter, we have the frequency at 43%, going up 17. The mix is not all the way up. It's brought down just a little bit. It's at 97%. So we do get some of those lower harmonics. Not a lot of them, just a little bit. We're going to bring those out with the compressor later, so you'll be able to hear them. All is not lost. Then for the resonance, I have it at 10%, and it is going up 29. That is for the peak and for the high pass filter. That really pronounces those talking frequencies while we're modulating the filter. And now on to the effects. The first effect we have is a filter. This is a Flange L6 positive. So this is just kind of sculpting the sound, sculpting the tone a bit. The cutoff itself is at 427 hertz, going up 7, which is just a little bit of movement. A lot of movement in the filter makes a really, really weird sound because this filter messes up everything. It's like those flangers, combs, and not much the phasers. There's a little bit of the phasers, but not too much. And the reverb filter really just mess up the spectrum, and it messes up the phases. So you don't want to do terribly too much motion unless you're trying to get a really messed up sound. So the resonance for this is at 38%. It is going up 33. So a lot of motion on the resonance. In this situation is controlling how hard the peaks are peaking upward and the dips are dipping downward. And for the drive, I have it at 76%, going down -29, because the filter itself, when the resonance is low, the filter is not that strong. When the resonance is high, it is very strong. So I wanted to kind of compromise by modulating the drive the other direction. So when the resonance is lower, the drive is higher. When the resonance boosts up, the drive is ducking down. So it stays at relatively the same level. All right, for the high pass frequency, we want that all the way up to get all of the harmonics. The mix is at 0%, and it is going up 49. Why did I have it at 49? That's annoying. 50. There we go. All right. So it's going from 0 to 50. And this is the sound we got right here. Now you can really hear the difference that the flanger makes. It just boosts a lot of those frequencies and ducks down other ones. So that's just a little fine tuning there. For the compression, I have it on multiband. The threshold is at -11.8, and the ratio is 4:1, and I left the time variables as they are. No gain is needed for this one. The mix is all the way up. Now you can see where I have the bands here. However, there is something I am modulating this top band, and not everyone knows that you can modulate the top band because there isn't exactly a knob you can add it to. And it isn't just the top band, like all the bands you can modulate. But I decided just to do the top here. All you have to do is drag the LFO onto the band. You can see they highlight like that, and it automatically starts with some modulation. Now to edit this modulation, you have to go into the matrix. So I'm just going to list these percentages to you. This one is at 89%. The mid is also at 189%, not 89%. And the low is at 200%. So we're doing a lot of boosting here. Here we are in the matrix, and I have located the modulation of the high band of the multiband compressor. Now I have it all the way up for this one. It's at 100, and it's at bipolar here. So it's going back and forth like that. And this will really, when it's doing that, it'll really accent the top frequency when it goes up to the top of the modulation, but when it's down, it'll duck it down. So this helps to clean out the sound and make it a little less gritty, because this itself, the original sound, is not that gritty of a sound. I wanted to clean it up slightly. While we are in the matrix, I just want to go over my modulation of the master tune. I have created a shape like this for the modulation, and it is only modulating up 8%, so it's just a little bit. It is on bipolar, so in the middle is where the tune is direct to the center. You're getting exactly the note you're playing, and then it goes up from there, and then it goes down from there. So you get some modulation there. So we start very low, and it slides up to normal, but then quickly it continues to slide back up, so we get a higher note, and then at the end it just drops down a little bit. Consequently, we have to make the note a lot lower than it originally would. This is a C sharp. I don't know exactly what key this song is in. However, it shouldn't be too hard to find out. But I just made it sound like the original sound. I picked the right note, and it worked out fine. Okay, continuing with the effects, and this is what it sounds like with the compressor. So that's a really sharp, piercing sound. Now, all the other effects we're gonna have here are they're just gonna clean up the sound. They're gonna make it easier to listen to, and they're just going to make it a lot bigger. So for the next effect, I have a phaser with the rate all the way down and the depth all the way down as well. The mix is modulating with LFO1 from 64% going up 26. The feedback is at 69%, wherever you'd like the phaser to be. And I'm modulating the frequency here. Now this is primarily what gives us that signature vowel that was in the original sound. You can hear it's at 91 hertz going up 18 with LFO1. So this is what it sounds like with the phaser. Now we get like a whoa kind of action in there. That was not completely achieved by the high pass filter. The high pass filter was really sculpting the sound. However, the phaser adds some harsh notches in there to really get rid of those unwanted frequencies and to highlight the vowel motion in the sound. So that's what the phaser is doing right here. On to the flanger. Now I'm doing something similar with the flanger, however I am not modulating it. The rate is all the way down, the depth is at 79%, the feedback I have at 86, so there's kind of a lot of feedback for this one, and you don't have to mess with the phase. The mix is going from 0 up 58, so all this is doing is just staying static, and this really only works. I just took the note that I had it on, which was C sharp, and I found the right frequencies for that note, because there was just to still kind of sculpt the sound and to highlight some certain frequencies that I felt were still missing after the phaser was doing its thing. So that is all that this is doing. It's just staying static and then modulating up and down with the mix with this LFO1. So this is what we got now. Not too much of a difference, however it is subtle and it does come out in the overall mix, so I thought it sounded good. Next up, we have a hyperdimension. I have just turned the mix up to 20%. I didn't mess with any of these. I normally don't mess with those. So I just turned the mix up a bit to 20. The size is all the way down, and the mix is at 50. So basic dimension stuff right here. It's just normal kind of stuff to widen up the sound. Now this is what we got. All right, it's a lot bigger now. Now for the chorus, I have the rate at 0.01. I use this chorus preset that I have right here, this spread preset, in a lot of my stuff. If you watch my videos a lot, you might notice that I'll go over the same variables for a lot of these knobs. That's just because it sounds really good. It's super tight, and it's very, very good for just beefing up sounds. So the rate is at 0.01, delay 1 is at 0.0, and delay 2 is at 0.3. The depth is at 20 milliseconds, and the feedback is at 10%. The low pass filter is all the way up for this one, just to get all those harmonics as usual. And the wet is at 10%, going up 40. So again, we're just kind of mixing it in with the modulation here. Now this is what we got. It just makes it a little wider, and like I said, just beefs up the sound a bit. Now for the EQ, there's just a little bit of EQing in the midsection, nothing too harsh. The gain is just going down a little bit. I have that at I'll just say negative 2.1, just somewhere around there, just ducking it down. You can even go a little harsher if you want. There's just a lot of frequencies in that area, and I wanted to control it a little bit. So for this right side of the EQ, I have a high pass filter, and what it's doing is I brought the frequency down to 5325 hertz, and I'm modulating it up 19 with LFO1. The Q factor is at 44%, and the gain doesn't matter. It's a pass filter. It's not doing, the gain won't do anything. What this is doing is it's just cleaning up the high end as the modulation goes on. Like I said, this isn't too gritty of a sound. At least the original one wasn't. This one kind of is, but I was just trying to limit how much grit was in the sound itself. Now this is what we got. Alright, and lastly we have the reverb. Now I have this on a plate reverb. When you have a plate reverb and then turn the width all the way up, you get a super wide and really meaty metallic sounding reverb. So that's what I was doing here. I have the size at 13%, pre-delay is all the way down. I have the low cut at 26%, just cutting the really low stuff. Then the high cut is at 100%. However, it is modulating all the way down with LFO1. Now what this does, when the high cut is at 100%, you can hear this if I turn the mix all the way up. You might not even be able to hear that. It takes out like all the high frequencies, and let's slowly turn the high cut down. Suddenly we get all the high frequencies. So that's what this is doing. It's starting at no high frequencies and modulating all the way up, kind of acting like this filter here. And it's modulating up with LFO1 there. Alright, let's just set the mix back to where it was at 10%, and we are good to go. Alright, the damp is at 100% and the width is at 100%. Like I said, this is just affecting the stereo right here, because plate reverbs start out completely mono, and it's not very big of a sound, and you have to turn the width up to get the stereo field back. On second thought, I decided to modulate the reverb differently than I did before. What I decided to change is I decided to put it all the way down and modulate it with envelope 2 up 28. So what this is doing is you got a lot of reverb mix as you're playing the sound, and then when you release, there is no reverb. At least there's just a little reverb, because I turned the release up a little bit just to let the sound drain out instead of just stopping immediately, making a cut, because that didn't sound very good. So that's all that is doing right there with envelope 1. Just a little bit of modulation going on right there, and we are good to go. So with the sub and the post-processing on, this is what we got.
People in the place, so turn up.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, leave a like below, comment what you think. I do want to say something before I end this video, because this is very important. I want to show you my sound design request list. So you can take a good long look at this. If you see your sound on here, I just did this sound as well. Let me take that off. Alright, we're good. If you see your sound on here, no, this is the order in which I'm doing them, the order in which they were requested, and the order in which I'm doing them. Now, I know there are a lot of requests on this list. If you are toward the bottom of the list with your request, I'm sorry. It's just the order in which people request them. I'm starting to get a lot of them. And also, I realized that it's probably not the best idea to do it in the comments section, for two reasons. First of all, I've been scrolling through my videos reading comments, and I've seen a request or just comments that I didn't get a notification for. Like, people commented and YouTube didn't tell me anything. And that's kind of worrying because I don't want people to request a sound and think that I'm getting to it and then me not doing it just because I didn't see the comment. Along with that, I have the sneaking suspicion that some people are double requesting. Like, one person will request a sound on one video, and then the same person will on another video at another time request another sound. I know I never said that you can't do that, but I don't want people to do that. I don't think that that's really fair. After I make your sound and make a video for it, feel free to request again for another sound. You've had your try, and now you can get back in line. But I don't want like one person having like 3 requests on this list and getting them before another person that just requested one thing like you're supposed to. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the way that we're requesting. I'm no longer doing it in the YouTube comments. I want you to direct message me on SoundCloud. You can find my SoundCloud link if you click on the link to my page, and then on the channel art you'll see a little thing that says my SoundCloud. All you have to do is direct message me on that. I will get the notification for that, and I will reply back to you on that. Also, that lets me know if someone is double requesting because it'll be in the same chat box, and I can just keep track of everything a lot better that way. I think it's a lot more organized. For the people who have already requested, don't worry, I am keeping this list and I'm still going to be working on this. However, if you have commented a request and I have not replied to you on it, then direct message me on SoundCloud. That means that I haven't seen it and I won't know about it, and I'm not taking any more requests in the comment section after this. So if you do request, then I'll just tell you to send me a direct message on SoundCloud. That is, if I see your comment anyway, because I'm having trouble with the comments, like I said. So I'm glad we have that sorted out. If you know what sound you requested, find it on here so you know exactly when it's coming, because I'm doing these videos in this order, like I said. So I don't know exactly when each one is coming. I just know that some people have been getting at me because I have been posting a tutorial on their sound, and I do have their sound. I'm not neglecting it. I'm just telling y'all that there's a big list and it might take a while for me to get to some of these sounds right here. Alright, now with that taken care of, thank you so much for watching. If you like this tutorial, hit that like button below, comment, tell me what you thought on the tutorial. Also, request sounds through SoundCloud this time, so I always have a list I can work with. And as always, peace out.